November 10th, 2025, regular meeting of the Town Board of the Town of Wappinger. May Town Clerk Paoloni please call the roll.
Councilman Beal. Here. Councilwoman Bettina.
Here.
Councilman Phillips. Here. Councilman Casella. Here. Supervisor Cavazzini.
Here. In just a moment, we'll invite you to join us in rising for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. That'll be followed by an invocation by our good friend Pastor Nathan Robinson from Chapel Falls Christian Fellowship, and that'll be followed by a moment of silent meditation. Please rise.
That's good timing.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we thank you for the town of Wappinger, a wonderful, prosperous, and safe community many call home. As our founding fathers began each meeting in prayer, we begin this meeting looking to your throne. In light of our government shutdown, we thank you that it has momentarily come to an end. May you grant great wisdom to our elected governing officials to ensure the stability of government and to reinstate confidence in all branches and all forces that America has their future at heart. We pray they never again go without. In light of Veterans Day, we thank you and pray for your protection and blessing over all who are currently serving. We thank you and recognize all who graciously and heroically served. Our prayers here today will never be able to fully express our gratitude for their service to our nation and its families. And tonight, may you bless our town supervisor, our town councilman, our town clerk, and all officials with great wisdom and guidance as they consider the business of this meeting. May their labor here tonight bring great help and hope and quality of life to the people of the town of Wappinger. And may you also watch over all of our emergency services, first responders, law enforcement during this busy time of year, and grant them all that they need to serve our community. It is in the name of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you, Pastor. Before we kick things off today, I'd like to acknowledge and welcome our town comptroller, Dan Tucker, as well as Jamie Spillane for sitting in for Mr. Ligori today. Welcome and thank you for being here. With that, do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved. A second.
Moved by Councilman Phillips, second by Councilman Casella. All in favor?
Aye.
Do I have a motion to acknowledge the minutes of October 27, 2025?
Move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Beal, second by Councilwoman Bettina. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Folks, we have one public hearing here this evening, and that is the public hearing on the preliminary budget. We ask that you state your name, address for the record. You have 3 minutes to opine on the document. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make a motion. I'll second it.
Moved by Councilman Phillips, second by Councilman Casella. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The public hearing is now open. Anyone wishing to come and speak?
Good evening. My name is Linda Abraham. I live at Sherwood Heights in Wappinger Falls. I'm just going to talk, not read. We support Supervisor Cavazzini, and we appreciate the work he has done. In all the years that I've lived in Wappinger Falls, there has not been a supervisor who has accomplished so much in the 2 years that he's been in office. And his budget that we're presenting tonight also follows the same path for the seniors, for the children, for the residents of the town. And we want everyone to know that we appreciate his grant writing, the money that he saves the taxpayers in so doing, and that's been acquired and we're looking forward to the next year. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Nancy LoCicero. I'm at 82 Fieldstone Boulevard in Wappingers Falls. I'm one of the original 2 co-founders of the Senior Garden Club. The other member who's way too busy doing other things is in the audience. That's Grace Martin. We were formed in 2021. We had a goal to improve the aesthetics of the town hall campus because it looked, we thought, drab and dreary.
Yes, it did.
Our group averages about 6 to 10 seniors. This year, we have 7 seniors on the group. Our first official budget was in 2022. I've come to speak about the Senior Garden Club budget line. I think it's AAA 7620-100. We prioritize cost management in the garden club. We reuse materials as much as possible. We replant and reseed instead of buying new items as much as we can. We price shop whenever we can, and that's something that we've done right from day one. While I was aware that the budget line was moving, it seems like from what I looked at in the budget, it's been removed completely. And so I just wanted to know if it's folded into another line item, where and why was that done? I mean, because my team's not ashamed of our work and the dollars we spend and the dollars that we have been put aside for us. And so I just wanted to have an idea of why those things were done.
So, thank you, Nancy. I was going to say that the money is still there. There was nothing that was defunded. It was rolled in like a number of other budget lines into a more general line. But tonight, we're actually going to break that back out into its own separate line.
Okay.
So it wasn't like anything was taken away. It was just rolled into a greater senior program in talks with the recreation director. But no, that's just going to have its own separate line back to how it was.
So one of the things we thought, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
You're not interrupting, no.
So one of the things we knew that you were interested in was seeing that specific $4,000 broken out. So that's why we
Yeah.
made sure tonight, and you're going to hear that as the supervisor said, it's specifically broken out so you can see it.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I just don't want it to look like we're hiding anything, because we're not. And the other members of the team, they are concerned about those kinds of things,
So that was the only club that had its own line.
Yeah.
Everything else was in a
I
general line.
wish we had
for
our
the
own
senior.
people,
Yeah.
some extras.
So that's all it was just like a housekeeping
Okay.
issue. But no, it's going to have its own separate breakout
All right.
line. Garden club, just as it has before.
Okay, I
That's all.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. And I have to say, you know, between, especially last year and this year, just the place has looked phenomenal. The additional plants that you placed outside Mr. Paloni's office really, really welcome our residents. The planters outside that are elevated right near the senior center doors are a huge asset to our seniors, and the gazebo, every time we do a wedding or have an event, it is just such a welcome sight. So I know it's not just you, but it's your entire team. I know that they come out on weekends. I've seen them out here. You and your partner have been out here many a weekend. It does not go unnoticed, and trust me, the residents that see it, they love it. And I love that you have the decorations. Not only do you do the flowers, but you do the Halloween decorations.
Yeah.
We're coming up on the holiday season now, so it's definitely appreciated.
Well, I appreciate
100%.
that because, like I said, we only have 7 folks, and one of those works full-time, and the other one was out for 3 months out of the growing season for an operation. So we run on a shoestring with the folks. But so I appreciate it, and I'll certainly pass that information on to everybody, let everybody else know.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Nancy.
Thank you.
Good evening, Grace Martin, 82 Fieldstone Boulevard in Wappingers. First of all, I'd like to congratulate the board on the recent election.
Thank you.
Looking forward to continued relationship. Angela, I can't think of a time, and I've been following local politics for the last 16 years. I can't think of a time when I looked at the board and did not see the name Bettina. Heather, best of luck to you in your job. You're going to need it. Pay attention to the way Grace dissects the budget, as well as you. Welcome, Controller. But again, I just wanted to reach out and let you know that I will personally miss you, and I personally thank you for you and for what you've done to continue to bless me as an advocate, not only at this level of government, but also throughout Dutchess County. So again,
I
thank you.
appreciate it so much. Thank you very, very much. And thank you to my constituents also, and best of luck, Heather. You know where I live.
Okay, I had spent a couple hours looking at this, and I have the several questions that I usually ask, and it's across the board. I'll start with the seniors, and then I'll move on to the rest of the budget items that kind of looked a little hairy to me. First of all, I'd like to start off with, usually our comptroller gives a report in front of this board. Even though I am not here, I faithfully watch them from home. When I'm on vacation, I watch them live. So this is the first time that I can remember in all the years I've been in front of the board that I have no benchmark to go against. And you're going to see that when I talk about things that I would have liked the comptroller to give us a baseline of where we are. This is already the month of November. So now we're talking about a budget for next year that we have no baseline. So you're going to find I'm going to drill down to that effect. So the other thing is this is the second year under this administration. It's a great administration. However, what I miss seeing as a constituent is your department heads standing in front of the full board telling them some of their ideas. That makes me, as a constituent, a little easier to come in a little more knowledgeable, and that probably would have saved time on my questions. But I'll start with line item. It's at the very beginning. There's line item AA000, ends with 2089. It's called senior monies. In the 2025 budget, it was $1,000. Somehow the activity is $7,600. So you blew the budget substantially, and this next year, in this budget, you're asking for $10,000, which is a 900% increase. You don't have to give me your answers, but...
No, we can do that, and you're talking about on the revenue line.
Is that what that is?
That's a revenue line, yes. That's revenue.
Okay, so that's good. So
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, that actually, I was going to say, Mrs. Martin, that goes back to the fact that obviously membership has increased significantly, especially under this administration in the senior center. So that's a revenue line of senior monies, what was taken in before and what was taken in
But what are
this
you
year.
taking in from the seniors?
I was going to say, Director Fulton, would you mind coming up and answering that question?
Okay.
But yeah, that's a revenue line, not an expense line.
So we really only have 2 revenue-generating programs in the senior center. The majority of our programs are offered for free. We receive revenue in that line from our yoga class. We charge $16 a month for that yoga class, and the rest is income from our bus trips. Like the revenue taken in when we collect.
So it's a pass-through, it comes right back out. So it's seen as it coming in. It's not net revenue, but it comes in for it to then come back out.
Yes.
I'll drill down on that at
Yep.
a future date, because that just doesn't seem like it should be revenue. Because then you should then show it has come out.
Well, that's what it is in the budget, it does come out. That's the expense line, shows that it's being spent.
All right.
But obviously, so here's the other thing too, because if we did not show the revenue coming in, which it had for all of these years, then that's placed on the property taxpayers.
Got it.
Even though that money is absolutely coming in, it's just a pass-through. So the town's not making revenue on it, it's coming in to the town that has to be shown on the books, and then goes right back out in the budget.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you.
No problem.
Once again, thank you for having Dial-A-Ride. We are in Dutchess County, that I get to see a lot of Dutchess County. Wappingers in the budget clearly supports their seniors with Dial-A-Ride at the cost of $1, where it's averaged much higher in the rest of the county. Now I'd like to drill down on the line that says special events. Yes. It's nice. It's gone from 24,000 to 3,000, so that's nice. That's a nice increase. You answered Nancy's question on the garden club, but didn't tell her the dollars. Is that budget line going to stay at $4,000?
4,000, correct.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Grace, got to get closer to the mic, apparently.
No, okay.
Is that mic on?
Yeah, it's on, she just needs to talk straight into it.
There you go.
Okay.
Thank you, Grace.
That's the first that nobody hears me anywhere. Michael, you watching at home? You hear that?
Oh, jeez.
Okay.
We're doing shout-outs live on TV.
Okay, for materials and supplies, I understand you're going up $7,000. That goes right in line with the senior center now having over 300 people. So again, thank you for that.
Yes.
Bus trips. I stood before you last year, got from 7,000, you gave us 14,000. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. You did only, though, 4 senior bus trips from what we believe that we counted in the senior center. You went to the AquaTurf, Medieval Times, Brownstone for Oktoberfest, and a casino. Buses average $2,000, and that's me being generous. So I would like to understand, Mr. Comptroller, if 4 buses is $8,000, how did we overspend a $14,000 budget, which is the first time the bus budget has been overspent? When the WSA had this budget line, it was never overspent. We were like the Garden Club and made sure we stayed within budget. So I would love someone to explain that, because the buses should have only been $8,000. Where did we put activity of another $6,455?
Director Fulton, would you mind coming to the podium?
Okay. So I don't want to muck papers. So when the WSA was handling our bus trips, we were literally just cutting a check for the cost of the bus. When the bus trips were handed over from the WSA to going under the complete control of the town of Wappinger Senior Center, we then became on the hook for the admittance fees to these places, which previously had been paid for by the WSA. So we then had the expense of, if it cost, say, round numbers, $20 to get into Medieval Times. It's more than that, but if it cost $20 to get into Medieval Times, we had to then pay that $20 to get into Medieval Times.
You're buying the ticket up front.
Times how many people are going on the trip. So that's where the remainder of those expenses then come into play. So the buses continued to be paid for, and we then had to add in those entrance fee expenses, which is how it did end up being overspent. Sure.
Your model is not the model to use. The seniors are paying for the trip. They're not paying for the bus. So if you're charging $75 to go into the Brownstone, you're collecting the $75 from those residents. That money, the WSA collected well before the trip, so the WSA then paid the venue the money. So once again, you got that money back from the seniors. You got it for each of these trips. They were charged $75 or $100. This money is not supposed to be in this line. It's a net zero. The model should be, and again, I've tried to work with your team, and you've done trips before, and the WSA has tried to work with you. The model is you announce your trip 3 months before you're going to go. You know and you estimate and work with the venue to say we're going to have 40 people come. The venue says, okay, for 40 people, you need to have a check for $4,000 the day of the venue. Oh, by the way, and a month before the venue, just like weddings, we've all planned weddings and all those other things we've done. A month before, you lock the number in. So if you asked for 40 and a month before you only have 30, you call the venue and it's now 30. So the day of the venue, you go over there like our financial person did. We had a treasurer who literally left their meal, went to the front desk and wrote the check for $3,000, while the town at the same time sponsored our trips. This amount of money can't be there. You charge seniors for the trip. You didn't charge them for the bus, which you have paid for the bus. Mr. Comptroller, this is a problem. There is a problem with this line. I have an MBA in finance, and I can do your analysis for you. Your model is not a model. So what I suggest going further, first of all, this needs to come out. Somebody needs to find out, because you didn't pay for it. The town didn't pay for the trip.
So
the only way you paid for that trip, wait a second, the only way you paid for that trip if you made an error. Again, on a model that, again, I'm a former WSA board member, and as Nancy clearly said, Grace got very busy, so she had to pull herself back from other activities. There is the model that if you then, I'll do that same model, if you told Medieval Times that you're going to book 40 seats, and then you walk in that day of the bus with only 20 seats, you owe them the 40 seats. Yeah. So that's your error. It shouldn't. That's your error, and you're affecting the historical fact of this line by not managing it the correct way. So once again, I suggest this shouldn't be here. This clearly explains why when I spoke to some of the staff down there, they kept telling me they lost money. And I said, how did you lose money? They said, well, we didn't fill the bus up. I said, well, you did it wrong. So if you've done it wrong the first time, you planned trips before, Kelly Ann is now here a year. You're not using the experience of the seniors. We had other jobs before we became senior citizens. You all know that. So, Mr. Comptroller, board members, this is a grave error. So, I'll move on to that. This next year, you're planning, and this is why I didn't want to come before the election, because I just did not want to have any of these discussions. I just think it was not healthy, okay? And that was my choice. Again, thank you for the $14,000, which was mismanaged. You're now increasing that budget by $19,500. So again, thank you. However, I don't have, so basically if I do the same math, $34,000 should give us 17 bus trips to pay for the bus, and only the bus. So, you only had 4 trips this year. Your seniors in that senior center think you only had 3. We convinced them there was 4, and they wanted to know why we didn't have 6 or 7 since Grace, you stood in front of the board and got us money. So again, that's not for Grace to answer, but that's what's going on in the senior center. So, my question is, are you planning a 1-week trip where we're using 7 days of buses? So somehow there's got to be 17 rental days of buses. So I'd like to understand how this budget line is now that amount of money. And my opinion is, if you're using the same broken model that you did in this year, this model's broken again. So if you're trying to collect money from the seniors to pay for a trip, and yes, I've been told there's an overnight trip, what are you going to do? Treat the seniors, or are you going to have this? So again, I'm asking why, and I'm sorry, seniors that are watching at home. I'm not debating to give us more money. I'll get that money used somewhere else, because in this supervisor's budget, he said that the seniors' money is going up 28%. Everybody watching, I will make sure we still get our 28% as best as I can, but I need to understand what's going on with this money, and I will make it used somewhere else. So you want to try to answer why did it go up?
I was going to say,
19,000.
Jessica, could you explain how you run your department here?
Yeah.
So I think there might be a fundamental misunderstanding on how our expenses and revenues work within these departments. We looked in the beginning at that revenue line, and now we're looking at expense lines. Expense lines never go back up. They never get money put back into them. So that money is going into those revenue lines. The money is never coming back into the expense line. So when we spend it on those entrance fees, the revenue that we get from the seniors for those tickets doesn't go back into an expense line. It's not like a checking account. It's not where you spend it and you make it and the account fluctuates in that kind of way. Any of that revenue is going into the senior revenue line, and any expenses are always going to continue to subtract from that expense line. So for it to have that amount of money spent out of it, the revenue that we got is in that 2089 revenue line. And that is kind of a fundamental government accounting way. None of our expense lines go back up after we have expended any money. Daniel, does that sound accurate?
Yes, no, you put it well. That's actually the way the state asks us to report our finances, is they want the gross expenses out and gross revenues in. So instead of offsetting it to see a net expense in this budget trip line, if you'd want to see how much the fees are covering it, we'd want to look at it more specifically to what was taken in for the trips and what was spent. So what the budget reflects, is just like Ms. Fulton said, and I'm just putting it in other words, it's the gross expenses out for bus trips, and the revenue lines are all the money taken in instead of netting it out. And just if I could give maybe an example that might explain why they'd want to see it that way, is if let's say the seniors paid for 100% of the trip, and we collected $50,000 for the year and spent $50,000, our financial report would show nothing spent. And that's it's not quite as accurate, but just a little bit more context to help when we're looking at it.
Thank you.
So once again, you have a different model. If there is some way that not waiting till November the 9th, the November the 10th to understand this. So I'll go back to my other question. Why $20,000 more? If you already, to me then I'll backtrack. So basically, I shortchanged myself last year by only giving me $14,000. $14,000 led the seniors to believe on this line. So again, I can't do the balancing from this line. I look at this line and it's over budget. So I'll ask the question a different way. This year with the 2025, we had 4 bus trips. With $34,500, what are you projecting as the number of bus trips the seniors will have in 2026, and what is your ideas for what they shall be?
So right now, the majority we're seeing that increase is an overnight trip to Lake George. That accounts for the majority of the increase in that line. We're also looking at 6 other trips, some falling in line with what the seniors have requested. Those lunch and a show, they really like that. The casino trips, falling along that model. Kelly is in the process right now of laying those out for the year, but we do know and have been pricing out that overnight Lake George trip.
And that is expected to be released in December, I believe, like a full calendar?
Mid-December, yeah.
And so I know that Kellyanne was looking to do a surprise with some of those, but, but of course, we're trying to be transparent.
There should not be a surprise. I will tell you why. I've brought this to several of you on the board, and now I will publicly say it. This organization needs to publish a 2026 trip schedule for the seniors.
That's what they're going to do.
Let me publicly say, so everybody knows in the Senior Center what they've asked me to do, and I've accomplished
Absolutely.
that. They need to see the itinerary. Most seniors are on a budget. You have not filled your bus trips this year because the seniors, on paper, and rightfully so, they're more expensive. which trips have gone up expensive in all other municipalities as well. Seniors need to budget their money. They don't need to be surprised in June.
No,
that
when I said a surprise, I did not mean halfway through the year. It was going to be, with all due respect, it was going to be released next month, probably at the Christmas party.
which I suggested to the board.
Yes.
Thank you. I want to make sure
yes.
my seniors know that I've come up with these ideas,
Grace,
not the
you
board.
are an amazing advocate. No one's taking that away from you. And that's why, exactly what I just said, we're listening to you. And that was the plan. So when I had said surprise, Kellyanne was looking to do something at the senior Christmas party, as you suggested.
That's all I needed you to say.
Yes, which now it's out now, so I'm sure everyone watching, they know some of the trips now, which is fine. But that
They
was
need
the
to know because they have to budget their money.
Exactly,
A Lake George
exactly.
trip
Yes.
is
Yes,
a
absolutely.
Lake George trip to look at the itinerary, and if the plan is to go to Lake George when I think you said it was, you're,
When is the Lake George trip planned for, Jessica? June. Yeah, June.
did you check the hotel rates in June? Did you check the double occupancy? I don't think a senior is going to want to pay.
So it would be given a 7-month lead time, 7-month lead time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, thank you. This way they can do their budget, so we expect to see
absolutely.
that out. So thank you. That's all I wanted. And that, I think, is it for my senior questions. I have other questions.
Okay.
BB fund. There's something, BB 4 zeros, then 2705. It's called gifts and donations. I have no idea what that is. There was nothing in the budget.
Could you repeat which, are you talking about revenue?
I have no idea.
BB, gifts and
Is
donations?
BB fund revenue?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if to help with I'm not sure which copy of the budget, usually the sections will say revenue or expense, but another,
Oh, it says revenue.
the way
So
it's
basically,
formatted is, well, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. If the middle section is 4 zeros, that's another indication that we're looking at a revenue account, just as far as the formatting for the.
oh, cool, so that's money coming in.
Yep.
Gotcha. Now I know the secret, I have the secret
Yep,
decoder.
we are
I have
not-
the decoder ring.
Yeah, we are not, and also should say at the top, revenue versus
Yeah, I know, but
expense,
this
but
thing's like 40 pages long, and I gave it 3 hours, and that was more
it's
than
all good,
enough.
it's all good. But yeah, that is not the town giving gifts and donations, that is
That's
received.
why, he just,
Yeah,
thank you for Mr.
that would be, for
Controller.
example-
I now know what a revenue is.
That'd be, for example, the Pines taking over all of the birthday parties that we got under this administration, so all those donations from Ulster Savings Bank, they come through
Oh,
that.
perfect, thank you. And I know you're a strong advocate of trying to get people to donate and prepay, but we also talked about that in the past.
Thank you.
That if your donors walk away and you still planned those parties, then I guess you figure out how to
Yeah.
pay for it under some budget line.
Yep.
Triple B, 7110. 100. Buildings and grounds staff, looks like that's growing because year to year that went up 20%. The next line is equipment, 7110, 200. Okay, you used to budget for 1.7 million. Good number, you've made your numbers. Why in 2026 is it only $66,000?
So I was going to say, so that was originally budgeted for $66,000. We did budget transfers, so every time we as a board pass a resolution to fund something at a B fund balance, like let's say a capital project like Castle Point Park, that then goes into there. So basically it's showing it in the actual budget that the transfer was authorized by the town board. So in the actual budget, we had appropriated $66,000 in the line, but then we authorized transfers throughout the year to do certain capital projects, whether that was ARPA fund projects or whatever it may be. The comptroller then takes the authorized resolution from the town board and then puts it into that budget.
So as an example, as the supervisor said, for example, the stage is part of that number.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest part in that number.
No, I'm not saying why you spent that number. I'm saying why in 2026 the budget line item is so low.
Because now if you normalize for it, if you normalize for taking ARPA money out of it, that's why it's so low. Take out the $1 million for the stage, plus a lot of the other things we did at ARPA money, and you'll see it's a lot closer.
It's essentially that line, the equipment is essentially a parks line and capital improvement line that then allows the comptroller to take, whether that's the grant funding that we get or it's the ARPA funds that we get, and appropriates it into the correct area. Because we could have used ARPA funds for something in a different line, we obviously appropriated it there. Like when we spent ARPA funds for vehicles, for buildings and grounds, obviously that went to a different line too.
The line that says concerts, which is, you didn't budget for concerts?
Yeah, no, we moved it.
Where'd you move it to?
We moved it to celebrations, I believe, right, Jessica?
So that explains.
That moved to a bigger
Okay, so you moved
pot.
the 10,000 down to celebrations, but celebrations went up. Oh, that's the 10,000 went up.
Yeah.
Okay, that answers that question. Thank you.
All good, all good.
All good.
Yeah, again, that, similar to the garden club discussion, it was just
Gotcha.
grouping things together.
Gotcha, I'm just trying to compare year to year.
All good,
Every time we have a new
absolutely.
controller, things seem to change a little.
Yeah.
No pun intended. So that works the same thing with the equipment line, the DBB fund, the same thing. Gotcha. So that went
Yep,
down, but I
Yes,
understand that same thing.
Exactly.
And
And the DB fund for folks, that's the highway fund.
so your engineer, you decided to increase his salary by 17%?
So we did a retainer agreement. So when I took office, there were no retainers for any of our professional services. We put our attorney on a retainer, and we put the engineer on retainer. That also includes not just the engineer, that also includes our stormwater management consultant. New York State has come up with new MS4 requirements, which are more labor-intensive. So that is a separate consultant. That money, obviously, to take care of the state's new unfunded mandates, we allocated in the engineer line.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
One last set of questions for the children. As you know, I'm an advocate for sports activities as well. I did not see a line in this budget for Little League or United Soccer. Why did you not have them
No,
as a
they're
separate
No,
line item?
they're both in there.
They're both in there.
Yeah, they're under joint recreation partnerships. So
So is that the new
Yeah,
title
so,
for it?
and actually, I'm going to be making an amendment tonight to add more money, $500 more to Little League. We did offer in this budget $1,000 more to soccer, and those are contractual
So if you
obligations.
got a line
with the town.
71,
So I got the line.
7145.
I highlighted it. It was joint partnership because I
Yep.
basically said, what is it? And basically, year to year, it went down 12,000.
No.
The one I'm looking at says joint, I'll give you the line number,
Yeah.
714500400.
Yeah, stuff
Joint
transfer.
recreation, I'm sorry, Mike, back there. Joint recreation leadership, the budget for 2025 was $30,035.25. Bill, I think I'm going to need your glasses soon. And the budget item for this year, it's that same thing. It says 18,500. You're playing that same
So
game
18,000.
that I don't understand? It
So the
says
way-
18,500, so that's down $12,000.
No, it's not down $12,000.
I'll show you the line. It's
There's
joint,
got to be a mismatch, because I can tell you from the 18,500 you're talking about, soccer is 5, Little League's 10.5, and challenge was 3,000, that's
somebody-
18.5.
So I don't recall specifically what those items were, but it was similar to that equipment thing, right? I think possibly one of the soccer field projects.
Oh, maybe was it the field goals? Maybe oh, okay, so, yeah, that actually, so we'll double check on that, Grace. But when we purchase something for one of those agencies, whether that is, like we bought soccer goals for the soccer club, I think that's probably where that came through. So again, that was probably a pass-through. Another joint, essentially grant line that you'll see in there is joint historical partnerships.
Yeah, I saw those.
That goes to the Historical Society and the Sports Museum.
oh, there
That's
was
line
one.
7520.
Yeah, just.
Yeah, but the one Al, you got the one that I'm talking about? Because I can go up there.
Yeah, I can tell you it did not get decreased.
But
I will tell you that
the
it's,
piece of paper I have shows a lesser number, so I'm asking you to relook at the line.
yeah, and you're going to hear it tonight. You're going to hear that we're going to actually increase one of the line items that
Yeah.
the supervisor said. So we're actually going up in those 3 line items a little bit.
Yeah.
And there was one that I can't find. Somebody help me find the vet line, because the veterans line wasn't. Oh, no, I thought I found it. Everybody give me, I got way too many stickies on this thing.
The veterans line.
There was a veterans line. Let me find it. Monies.
There it is.
So veterans assistance.
Medical buyout. Oh, there it is. It's on the same line right above
There's
that
money transferred in.
partnership.
Okay, that's exactly.
Veterans Assistant, the line number is AAA 65100481.
Yep.
Veterans Assistance. You've budgeted in 2024 for $5,000. Only had $130.90 activity. 2025, you budgeted $5,000.
Correct.
Only have 0 activity, and next year you're budgeting for $5,000. I'm offering you, if you need suggestions how to give the vets $5,000, I can help you because you have not spent that budget line. So please, as a veteran and as a strong supporter of veterans, please explain that to me, why you haven't spent it.
So that money came out of Buildings and Grounds general line. So obviously, we did the Walk of Heroes, which is a first in Dutchess County, something that we're very proud of, something that County Executive Sue Serino is now going to use as a model since she saw our park. That money we were originally going to take out of that line for veterans improvement projects around the town. Same thing with this administration, this town board. We improved the Major Marks monument out at Martz Field. Rather than taking it out of those lines, we were able to then authorize additional funds by the town board, so it did not blow through that budget line. But obviously, as you know, this town board has allocated more toward veterans causes. We also have a resolution on here tonight approving $25,000 to replace all of the Hometown Heroes banners, something that we've worked with the VFW and the DAV on as well. So we continue to work with these veterans groups. They might not have come out of that particular budget line, because again, that's just, as Mr. Paloni says, it's, the town's money is not in a bunch of drawers. That's just a line. We passed it through, the Recreation Buildings and Grounds line for all of those other improvements, rather than blowing over that budget.
I understand that.
Yes.
However, I just gave you the perception of someone, myself, who understands data, and I'm just regurgitating what that data line says.
Absolutely.
So if you were audited on that line, please hear me out. Again, I'm giving you my perception. My perception is that you spent nothing. And if you want that to be the wrong perception, which you've said, and you've corrected, again, it's still on paper, it says you didn't take anything out of there.
We didn't have to use that line, just like
So again,
we added
I'm back
the POW,
to
MIA.
then why didn't you use it? You have it, use it.
Well, we used
The Garden
other
Club's
lines.
got 4,000. They didn't use it this year. Believe me, Nancy, if I could find some time, we're going to use what you budgeted. You gave the seniors a budget line for snacks and trips and stuff. We're using it. Again, it's the perception you've given the vets on this line item, $5,000, and you did not use it. It's perception. So throw a party for the vets, use that line item, and it goes, you used $5,000.
And again, the actual creation of that line was to give the former deputy supervisor of a prior administration a salary that we stopped. To run a private organization, we stopped that.
But if it was his salary line, Mr. Supervisor, it shouldn't
they were giving him a
be
stipend.
there.
They were giving him a stipend to run a private organization.
I understand that,
So-
but again,
That's a legacy line. It's a legacy line. So just like you'll also see veterans ceremonies, there's veterans events, that line gets used because obviously we go above and beyond for our Memorial Day and Veterans Day.
if it's a legacy line, then I guess it shouldn't be in this budget.
Yeah, I've offered to remove it last year and put it into a different line, but it was put back in during this process, so that's how that.
Okay, so board, you heard my opinion of vets and children and seniors. Thank you very much for your time and attention. And again, I really would like to go back to some of the old model. If people need help, there's seniors in there that are extremely knowledgeable to help you get through your process. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr. Martin.
Grace.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm still me.
Thank you for still
the
being
same
you.
person. Just for my edification, I'm not quite sure, for the bus trips that are listed for the seniors, it appeared to me, based on what I saw just driving around the town, that at least 3 of the 4 trips that were done this year for the seniors were opened up to everybody in the town. Is that going to be our process moving forward? Because if that's the case, they shouldn't be in the senior line, they should be someplace else.
They're still for senior citizens, and I was going to say, Director Fulton, would you like to opine on that?
Yeah.
The only one of them that was, and only about 2 people took advantage of it, was when we did Medieval Times. Some people were interested in, they couldn't drive their grandkids there, they wanted to have an experience with family members. So we facilitated them being able to have that experience as a senior citizen, as a grandparent, with their families. But that was the only trip that we did that for.
Yeah, I was unaware of any
Yeah.
non-seniors except for that
I'll
trip.
tell you,
And we don't want to make this a back and forth
yeah,
here either, but-
I just think that if you have something on the sign at Shock House Park that's advertising a trip, that the perception of that is that it's open. It didn't say senior trip, it just said trip. So if that's the case, we should be careful about what we put out on our electronic sign.
That was a recommendation of one of our senior advocates.
Probably.
Yeah, and it did, and it did, and it was also to call the seniors, it was also to call the senior center, and when they had called, they would have gotten that answer of, this is a senior trip. We obviously want to reach out to every Wappinger resident that's a senior citizen. That's why we've grown this program from 132 members to 300, and we're going to continue to do that. So we're going to make use of those electronic signs to get the word out and try to get more members as well. So.
And seniors are now, what, 55 and up?
55 and up, yes.
So, one, right, one could argue, though, that 55 is not a senior citizen, though.
You, board, allow 55. You all allow 55.
Voted on that.
Oh, no, I'm sure there's some statutory, statement with respect to that, because 55 and up also is consistent with HUD definitions for affordable housing and things like that. That's where that came from. That's the genesis of the 55. My point is, though, if we're going to try to restrict participation, we have to remember that it's 55 and up.
Exactly.
That's basically, I'm almost there.
Yeah. That's right. You started when you were in the 20s, and you're in 20s.
Some are already.
That's right.
Just saying.
Well,
No,
we
but-
look marvelous, okay?
Yes, you all do.
And we try our best to try to reach out to as many of our over 55 community as possible.
What I will say is, I appreciate your advocacy and your passion. It is certainly second to none. I think some of the misinterpretation of the budget can be cleared up if we further break down some of these accounts, right? So we've done that in the past where an account will be broken down into sub-accounts, and you can see specifically where the money is going, right? And I think in the future, we may want to revisit that opportunity so that you could see Little League, soccer, all the different lines, right? Because those sub-accounts do exist, right? That said, we have changed controllers a number of times, therefore the process has changed a number of times, right? And Dan, I think you've done an incredible job. There was a time here where we would receive spreadsheets that were this big, right, that we could see, we could see everything. We haven't gone that route. Obviously, Dan's still relatively new. I didn't want to ask for too much, but, in the future, I think having the opportunity to break it down line by line by line, it gets a little bureaucratic, but I think
we also all had it digitally too.
Yeah, I mean,
you still have that.
I do have that on Excel, but I'm a paper guy, honestly, right? Yeah, right. So I like to have it here, and Excel is good, but the screen's only 17 inches, right? So that said, I'm not faulting anything. I think this has been a transparent process. I think that if you look at the budget itself, you're going to see. You're going to see intent of this town board to support a variety of different programs, projects, right? And we're going to have some further discussion with respect to how we can even improve our commitment, in the next few minutes here.
Yeah.
But I just want everybody to understand that it has been the intent of this board to provide a level of support to a multitude of programs across the board, not just the seniors, but also youth programs, veteran programs. We're going to see another incredible display tomorrow. Yep. And I talked to the supervisor about this when he first took office, if we can also focus on things we can touch and feel. And I think I don't have to tell anybody in this room, there's more things you can touch and feel that we've achieved over the last 20 months than I can remember, and I've been here the longest. So, and we're not done, right? So we're going to continue with respect to veterans. The veteran commitment in this town by creating these parks and creating these monuments and memorials. You don't really see that in other towns. You see them from 50 years ago. You don't see them being created and being born. So having to fund these projects can be challenging, but I think we've worked creatively to make these things a reality. And again, tomorrow, I think the backdrop of tomorrow. How's the weather looking tomorrow, by the way?
It's going to be cold.
Is it?
It's not going to rain.
It's going to be very cold.
So we're returning to Schlott House.
Yes, after a couple-year hiatus.
It's been a while. I remember sitting there.
Yeah.
But the difference this year is, though, we have the backdrop of a park that really has undergone a renaissance, and I think it's. I just found out today it's going to be there. But the more I think about it, is the backdrop's going to be those banners.
Yes.
Right. And on Veterans Day,
our new Walk of Heroes. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's going to be right there. That's a testament to the commitment from this board. So as we move forward here, again, I just want to say thank you for your passion. I sit here and I just listen because other towns don't have folks that will spend that much time to go line by line and really defend those that can't be here to speak up. So we appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Any further public comment on the budget? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Phillips, second by Councilman Beal. All in favor? Aye. Public hearing is now closed. Moving along to our public portion. Do I have any members of the public wishing to speak on agenda items? Do I have a motion to open the public portion? Move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Beal, second by Councilwoman Bettina. All in favor? Aye. Seeing no members of the public wishing to speak, do I have a motion to close the public portion?
Second.
Moved by Councilman Casella, second by Councilwoman Bettina. All in favor? Aye. Public portion is now closed. Moving along to the consent resolutions. Resolution 2025-196, resolution setting Miracle Circle bid and scope. Resolution 2025-197, resolution authorizing funding for the Wappinger Hometown Hero banner replacement project. Resolution 2025-198, resolution accepting Miracle Circle as a town road. Resolution 2025-199, resolution declaring November as Native American Heritage Month in the town of Wappinger. Do I have a motion to adopt the consent resolutions?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Casella, second by Councilman Phillips. All in favor? Aye. Consent agenda has been adopted. Moving along to the non-consent resolution.
If we can just for a moment, I don't want to fly by this too fast, but if you can just expand upon the funding for the Wappinger Hometown Hero banner replacement.
Absolutely. This is something that Councilman Phillips, this is his baby, right? Something that he wanted to bring up. He has provided us here today with samples of banners. Basically, some of the banners are worn and torn, and you could also get a little Photoshop editing, right, Councilman?
If you look around the tri-state area, the blue and the red banners
have withstood the elements. They look better, they look classier, and the vendor that we're using is the guy that does Fishkill, East Fishkill, and Poughkeepsie. He's taken those over because they were, the vendors that they were first using were bad. We will select the template. We will, it's all on us. The 60 by 30 banners, the same as we have. So we'll use our same hardware, and it's at the same price. He's given us a 10% discount because we're replacing 175 of them.
Correct.
I couldn't see asking the veterans and the families that have bought them to replace them.
Right.
So we're going to do that from the town and then go forward with the same program that we were doing before. Just so you know, we are the cheapest in the area. Everybody else is from $235 to $275, and we're still $200. It's covering our costs, and of course, our town employees put them up.
Yes. So we're looking at, Councilman Phillips and I, the Kingston area one, something like that.
We printed out some of our local banners, and if you look at them, the one on the backside, on the bottom, bottom left looks,
Other side.
Bottom left.
that looks like the,
So how do you go about approving the quality of the artwork for those that have
so we
submitted?
submit them.
Right.
Then there is, much like when you get your palm cards or whatever.
Yeah.
They send you a proof, and then you approve the proof, and then they print.
Yep.
So we weren't doing that. We were sending in, if somebody sends you a picture from 1945, they
Right.
were just forwarding the picture on. And unfortunately, we have to do work on it. We have to Photoshop them, enhance them, and the technology's there to do that.
We unfortunately have a veteran who served in World War I, I believe, with bright red lipstick. And, we want to do right by these individuals, and so we're going to take an extra step of quality assurance there.
That's how it's scanned in, I guess, right?
Yeah, so we will redo all the photos and submit them, and we will see the proofs before they're printed, and hopefully have them all turned around before the spring.
Yep.
And there's 175?
Correct.
That's what we have, correct?
Are they all double-sided, or are they?
Correct.
Yes.
And then what do we end up doing with the older ones?
My thought was to give them to the families who ordered them.
Oh, okay.
They paid for them.
Yeah.
What's the plan
Yeah, that's good, Chris.
with the ones that are displayed at Schlothouse Park right now?
Same thing,
The same thing.
to replace those as well. The idea with the ones out at Schlothouse Park is to keep those that were here this year to next year. We also selected because they did not get a full year, so they would get a full year. The Gold Star families that we selected are going to stay around the monument, and then following that, the Gold Star families will remain, and then we will cycle through different families, so everyone will have the opportunity to be in the park.
Okay, I just want to make sure, so we're always, from this point forward, we're always going to have a presence of banners at the park?
Correct.
And then is the plan to take down the banners during the off-season?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
We want to get through Veterans Day.
Okay.
So the Highway Department, we use the bucket truck from the Town of Fishkill Highway Department, so we've already lined that up. So following our ceremony tomorrow, the banners will begin coming down.
Okay.
Before the snow.
Yeah, don't say the S word.
Yeah.
Snow. Thank you.
Good job, Chris.
Appreciate it.
And again, just to remind folks that we took this over from a private organization that was running it, and now it's solely under the town as of this year.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion? We're good? Okay. So moving along to the non-consent resolutions. Resolution 2025-195, resolution adopting annual budget for fiscal year 2026. Do I have a motion for discussion?
I'll move it.
Moved by Councilman Casella.
Second.
Second by Councilman Phillips. I believe that we have a few amendments that we'd like to make on the floor. I'll start it off with Councilman Casella.
Yeah, so first, a couple of key points. First one is that we kept the tax rate the same as the supervisor's budget. So I want to make that very clear. That's something we talked about before. And as I said at the meeting last time, one of the supervisors presented his budget. There's going to be changes, and tonight we're going to go through those changes, so there's pluses and minuses to that, but we're going to go through those changes. Bottom line is the budget's well-balanced to serve the residents of Wappingers, including additional money for senior programs, upgrades to the senior center, upgrades to parks, continuation of road paving, while keeping the taxes low. So that's all things that are part of this budget here. So the way we're going to work this tonight is I'm going to read off an account number. I'll do a section, and then the rest of the team will do their section. Give the account number, the current number in the budget today, and then hopefully what's going to be the adopted.
We'll vote on each section as each council member finishes.
So I'll start off with the first one is line item number 1110.0403. Current budget today is $8,500. We're going to reduce that to $8,000. Next one is 1110.408. That's going to be reduced from $11,000 down to $7,000. Next line item is 1220.1040. That's going to go from $5,724 up to $7,000. Line item number 1315.0125. It's currently at $10,000. It's going to go down to $2,500. Line item 1330.0100. It's going to go from $92,190 to $94,390. Line item number 1410.01A. It's going to go from $87,500 to $100,000. That's you.
Is that going to require an MOU or an MOA?
No.
No.
No. No.
And the last one that I'm going to do here, and again, we're going to share this amongst the board.
Because Town Clerk Paoloni, that was adopted already by the town board, as you know.
The MOA?
Yes, that was already adopted.
Last one is 1410.0125.
There's one. It was already adopted.
It's, right now, it's currently at $2,500. It's going to go to $0. So with that, I'd like to make a motion to accept the amended budget lines, unless there's any other discussion you want to have.
No. Second. All right, we have motion by Councilman Cassell, second by myself. All in favor? Aye.
What did you vote on?
Just the first section, yes.
So the next is the A-Fund revenue section?
Not yet.
Nope, not yet. Not yet. Chris, this is all,
We have
this
a-
is
we have a
Councilman
split out.
Casella's amendments.
These are like 3 more resolutions, just like
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, yes.
This is all A-fund expense.
All A-fund expense, that's correct.
Okay.
Chris?
Councilman Phillips, I believe that. Councilman Phillips.
Okay, 1410.0200 from 10,000 to 0. 1420.0400 from 152,000 to 172,000. 1680.0482, 16,500 to 18,500. 1910.0400, 340,000 to 300,000. 1990.0500, from 0 to 6,500. And 3640.0400, from 2,000 to 5,000. I make that motion to make the changes.
Moved by Councilman Phillips.
I'll second it.
Second by Councilman Casella. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to make some amendments to the budget, starting with A.7145.0403, increase from 10,500 to 11,000. A.7620.0100, increase from $91,778 to $103,278. A.7620.0415, decrease from 16,000 to 12,000. A.7620.0483, increase from 0 to 4,000. And increase A.7620.0482 from 14,000 to 17,000. I make that motion.
Second.
Moved by myself, second by Councilman Beal. All in favor?
Aye. 0000.2089, 10,000 is now 30,000. 000.2772 was 0, it is now 22,000. I make a motion to accept these.
Moved by Councilwoman Bettina. Second by Councilman Beal. This was on the A Fund revenue. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Okay.
I think there was one more line there you might have missed.
Yeah, you missed one.
000.50221?
It's
31.
5931.
Okay, thank you. That's what happens when you get old, Bill, I'm just telling you.
Here, hold on. Here.
Yeah, no, not strong enough. 2A, it was 285,408. It is now 241,384.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Moved by Councilman Beal, second by Councilman Casella. All in favor? Aye.
Just one comment before Councilwoman Bettina continues. I meant to mention this before. When you see the attorney line and the engineer line and their .4s, those are consultant lines, so those are not salaries. Those are basically appropriations that are billed upon.
Yes.
Just wanted to mention that.
I was going to say, to piggyback on that, as we had mentioned, they were retainers. That was their contractual. Yes.
Sorry, go ahead, Ann.
This is B Fund expense 1420.0400. It was $140,000. It's now $120,000. 70200103. It was $15,000. It is now $20,000. 7110.0100. It was $87,550. It is now $90,000. And 7110.0103 was $19,000. It is now $24,000.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Beal, second by Councilman Phillips. All in favor? Aye.
All right, so B Fund expense 7310.0415 from 18,100 to 12,000. B Fund 7550.407 from 56,000 to 66,000. 8010.0100 from 23,123 to 25,000. 8015.0100 from 64,464 to 70,000. 8020.0100 from 23,123 to 25,000. And 8020.403 from 7,500 reduced to 4,200. I'll move the change.
Second. Moved by Councilman Beal, second by myself. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Last but not least, under B Fund revenue, account number 000.5099 from 485,000 to 482,341.
I'll move it.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Casella, second by Councilman Phillips. All in favor?
Aye.
Any further amendments to this document?
And just to clarify, Councilman Casella did the math on this as a net zero change, right?
Correct.
Pretty much, yep.
Correct.
Okay. So
The MOA was adopted last meeting.
it was the Teamsters one, which, if it was not the last one, the meeting before.
More like the past.
I'm sorry, what are you?
Past MOA used to go through the town.
That, it was approved by the town board.
When was that?
2 meetings ago?
2 meetings ago, we approved it?
That sounds right.
I can find it right here, Council. No, Mr. Clerk, here, I got it right here. That would be, no, it wasn't 2 meetings ago. Hold on, I got it. No, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, it was all approved.
Following protocol.
Yes, of course. That's why we wouldn't do it without that. Yeah, that was resolution 2025-175, resolution authorizing memorandum of agreement with International Brotherhood of Teamsters Local 445. That was adopted on October 14th, and then was, accepted by Teamsters. Okay. We agreed on all of the amendments. We have a motion and a second on the resolution. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? None? Thank you very much.
So the final budget will reflect these changes, correct?
Yes, so the final budget will reflect all of these changes. The town comptroller has all of those changes as well. I would like to say thank you to my colleagues. This, I felt, was a very good budget. We all had some really good conversations together, individually, working with Dan. I have to thank Mr. Tucker for his work on the budget as well. It really was a solid document and a good collaborative process with everyone here. As we yet again enter a very exciting year for the town of Wappinger, this budget, I once again emphasize, is under the New York State tax cap. That is not something that is happening across Dutchess County, even, folks. As a member of the Supervisors and Mayors Association, we see emails almost every week from towns struggling to get within this number, and we have accomplished that. We continue to be innovative, folks, when it comes to reducing the burden on property taxpayers. We are generating, through this budget, alternate revenues. That is through the new chapel at Carnwath Farms Historic Site and Park, the new live performance stage at Brexel Schlotthaus Park, and even when we purchased the roll-off truck for the recycle center, that is now saving us upwards of $300,000 a year. These are innovative approaches that we are taking to take the burden off of taxpayers. And again, out of our total $21.3 million budget, only $9.2 million of this budget, only $9.2 million is levied onto property taxpayers. That is alternate forms of revenue. That is us continuing to diversify our funds and high interest earning accounts, and continuing to bring resources in-house. We have an amazing buildings and grounds and highway department that gets projects done in-house, and so much more. Together, this final budget, again, is offering a tax rate decrease and under the New York State tax levy cap at 1.82%. Taxpayers will see that this new rate in the town outside village is $1.48 per thousand, which has decreased from $1.59 per thousand. Those in the village will see that the rate has been decreased to 62 cents per thousand. This budget not only meets all of our contractual obligations, as we just noted, with highlighting that Teamsters contract, but it also takes into account all of our anticipated costs, such as insurance, utilities, materials, and cost of living. We get the same bills as you at home, and we have to balance our checkbook just as you do. We are proud that through this budget adopted here tonight, the launch of brand new initiatives, such as brand new building permit software, which you will now be able to get certain building permits online through the town of Wappinger. New cellular reading technology to provide residents with real-time data collection on their usage of water in the United Wappinger Water District through cellular reading technology. We are also rolling out new short-term rental management software through the Code Enforcement Office. As we discussed tonight, increases to our senior enrichment programming, including the expansion of our art program, which we are moving forward with. Very excited with that. We have also implemented through this budget the start of a 5-year capital asset plan for the Buildings and Grounds Department. We continue our commitment to supporting law enforcement and targeted patrols throughout this town. We project to pave 7 miles of road in 2026, as well as allocating resources for this town's celebration of America 250, recognizing the 250th anniversary of our nation's independence. These are just a few of these forecasted and highlighted projects that we also announced at the supervisor's tentative budget address in September. Through these efforts, we've preserved Wappinger's status yet again as the most affordable town in Dutchess County, with only 8% or 8 cents of every dollar you pay in property taxes going to this town. I thank my colleagues again on the town board. I thank all of our department heads. I thank our town comptroller, and I thank our residents for their collaborative effort, for all of their support and their advocacy in doing the right thing by the town of Wappinger in 2026. And once again, I'd like to say that our fiscal responsibility equals affordability. So I'd like to thank everyone for that. Councilman Beal, do you have any comments on the budget?
Yeah, good work to the supervisor. I appreciate your work as the budget officer, laying the foundation for this budget. I want to specifically thank Councilman Casella and Councilman Phillips for digging in on this, which they did. They spent a lot of time going line by line in a constructive way, not a negative way, but just looking for savings. Just like anything else, the rate of inflation in certain areas is still unprecedented. I mean, dealing with healthcare increases, from a town government perspective, never gets easier, and double-digit increases continue. But we are fortunate in this town to have revenues that allow us to still provide and expand our services. Not every town has the valuation and commercial base that we have from a non-homestead, homestead standpoint. And I believe that we leverage those base rate proportions effectively to provide services to this entire town in an efficient way. So I thank you all for your hard work. We did each have an opportunity to review and comment on proposed changes ahead of this meeting. So each one of those lines that we discussed here this evening, we had an opportunity to investigate and change. In fact, a couple of those lines there we each made adjustments to, which is good government, in my opinion. So I thank you all for your hard work on this.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other comments on the budget?
I would like to just thank Dan.
I'd like to say thank you to the board members that worked on this budget. It's good. I think it's beneficial to the residents, and we're always open for comments. If there's something that you do not like or you would like to see, contact the board, and they will address it. This is your town. These are your tax dollars. We are servants to these people, to you. We are responsible to you. Our honesty and integrity is every day. So remember that. I enjoyed working on this last budget, and hopefully it'll go well for everybody. Also, Mr. Clerk, when is our next board meeting? I believe it's December 8th. Okay, in light of that, I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Be safe, enjoy your families, travel safely. I hope not too many people are flying, but who knows? We have Mother Nature out there, and she's coming in. But honestly, enjoy your family, stay safe. And again, thank you, my board members.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Dan for your time, Councilman Casella and Supervisor. We worked between three of us at many different times. So again, congratulations, your first budget with the town. And it went relatively smooth. Even when we had disagreements, it went easy.
Yeah, there was
it
no
really
issues.
did.
Yeah.
If you had a reason to make a change, it was very good. Thank you to the rest of the board. I have to thank the board So quickly, anybody who questions our commitment to veterans, to spend $25,000, it was a no-brainer to this board. So thank you all. I appreciate it, and seeing the need for the upgrade and the replacement was great. So again, thank you so much, and to everybody, have a very happy holidays.
Thank you. I was just talking about comments on the budget, so I know Councilman Casella, you already opined on the budget, and then we were going to circle back around for items for special consideration, new business. I promised that we would head it off at the 4th Ward.
So I just want to make a couple more comments on the budget.
Absolutely.
So again, it was a very good process this year. I know that Councilman Phillips and myself and the supervisor had a number of separate meetings together where we, 5.5-hour marathon with Dan over a couple days, with the supervisor, a couple hours here and there, Councilman Phillips. So I want to thank you guys for all the hard work and effort that you put in. We were able to get the information available to Councilman Beal and Councilwoman Bettina, which was good. Kind of collaborated, figured out what was the right thing to do. As you saw, we made a number of changes today, but again, minimal dollar changes, but just moving things around, just trying to, again, take as much expense out as possible, find revenue where it's applicable, and we did those kind of things. I know today that Dan and I spent a number of hours on the phone reconciling all the changes that we had to make sure that tonight it all fit into the budget, everything tied out at the very end, so we stay at the 1.82% that we told residents that we would achieve. So again, thank you, Dan, and the rest of the board. I appreciate that, the time and the effort. Again, we did put the time in. I do like one of the suggestions that Ms. Martin had brought up before, where we have the controller potentially come up next year and have the individual department heads come up. I thought that was very valuable that we do that so we can see what their thinking is. I know the supervisor worked with them individually, and I know I met with a number of the department heads as well to try to figure out what was going on before I met with Dan and Councilman Phillips, but I want to get an idea. But it's always good to see what they're thinking, because there's a lot of programs out there they may be suggesting, whether it's senior or buildings and grounds, things like that. But it's a good idea to kind of figure out what they're doing, because unfortunately we did spend a lot of time with Dan, and I apologize for that, but we were just trying to understand the numbers as they were going forward so we could make sense of them. So when residents asked us what's in the number, we could tell you what's in the number, and I think that's important that we do that. Anyway, thank you to the board, and I do appreciate all of your time. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilman. Moving along to items for special consideration and new business. I just wanted to say thank you to our residents for the great opportunity to be reelected to this job. As many of you know, I take this position with great honor and pride, and as the best position I've ever had. And so I just wanted to thank our neighbors and our residents for their vote of confidence in me, and I am grateful for that opportunity. With that, as we've noted a few times here tonight, Veterans Day is tomorrow. This town, unlike many, have many Veterans Day ceremonies. I had the opportunity to attend and speak at the Roy C. Ketchum, as well as the James S. Evans School Veterans Day ceremonies, alongside of our American Legion and at VFW, as well as our school community. But tomorrow, we as a community will pause yet again. At 11 o'clock a.m., we will gather at the VFW post off of West Main Street in the village of Wappingers Falls for the Villages ceremony, and again at 1 o'clock p.m. at Brexel Schlotthaus Park, moving that ceremony back there. We will also, at that event, formally dedicate the Walk of Heroes that we have erected there, something that, again, we are tremendously proud of in this community, that, again, we are the model for the rest of the county. And our veterans are eternally grateful to see that. As we've talked about many times on this dais, it is so heartwarming to see veterans and their families go out there, sit at a bench, and look at their loved one. That was the idea. So tomorrow, we officially dedicate that new asset. As has been noted around town, we are hosting a food pantry drive, essentially a call for help to our community to assist the Zion Food Pantry. The Zion Food Pantry feeds now 86 plus members, households of our community every single week. Myself and trustee from the village, Rosemary Vanka, partnered on hosting this food drive between the village and the town. It has been very successful. We've had volunteers outside of local grocery stores, town hall, village hall, and the village police department have all been acceptance sites, and I have to say the support has been very overwhelming. And the Zion Food Pantry is grateful for these donations. And we encourage anyone who continues to want to bring in not even just food, but toilet paper, dog and cat food. All of that is needed and accepted. And you can donate that either here at Wappinger Town Hall or directly to the Zion Food Pantry. This Saturday, I unfortunately will not be able to attend, but the town is partnering with the Wappinger Historical Society, again through one of our grants that we outline in our budget, to unveil a new historical marker. That will be this Saturday, November 15th at 11 a.m. I will ask my deputy supervisor to represent me there, but that will be a nice partnership once again with the Wappinger Historical Society to unveil that new marker for the Chelsea Hamlet. And one thing I'd like to note, as we've gotten several inquiries, and most of them happen to be in the 3rd Ward, Chris. The United States Postal Service has apparently issued a new regulation that as of 2017, they are no longer putting new mailboxes or delivering mail to mailboxes at the end of driveways. This does not mean, this does not matter whether the road is dedicated or not. That used to be the issue. But now we have several subdivisions that are accepted as town roads, have been receiving mail since 2017, that now, according to United States Postal Service, will no longer be receiving mail until they build a community mailbox at the end of their street. We've explained to these residents that this is not a town regulation. The planning board adopted these site plans with each one of these houses to get their own mailbox. And we've been in contact with Congressman Ryan's office about this, as this is a federal issue. So in case anyone here happens to get any correspondence, this has been flowing through now. Letters from the Wappingers Falls Post Office, from their new postmaster, telling individuals that have been receiving mail since 2017 that they will no longer be receiving it until they build a joint mailbox. And it's the position of the town of Wappinger that that is absurd. And we will continue to work with our federal partners to advocate against that, because, again, that is just absolutely ridiculous. So
I don't believe anything that I hear from the Wappingers Falls Post Office. I'm just saying.
No.
I don't believe anything. My mailman will not even deliver up my driveway because he said there's a rule that he can't drive up my driveway, but he drives up my neighbor's driveway.
Yep.
So Amazon can deliver things in the same day. Letters that I sent 2 weeks ago are still showing up.
Yeah.
So I don't know what in the world's going on at the 12590, but certainly there needs to be questions raised, because that is ridiculous. You can't expect folks that live on a town-adopted road with a mailbox that's already installed, meeting federal regulations, to now be expected to take their mailbox down and go down the street to pick up their mail. That is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. The price of the stamp has gone up, I don't know, it's doubled in the last 3 years, and now they can't deliver it to your house?
Yep. It's absurd.
And this is, what is this, only in Wappingers Falls, New York, that this is happening? Because I don't think this is happening anywhere else.
I've confirmed with my other supervisors and mayors, no one else received this notice, and it's addressed from the Wappingers Falls Post Office.
Of course. And not for nothing, but I will say this. The New Hackensack Fire Department has been delivering a newsletter for the last 50 years, okay? And for some reason this year, the post office was directed to take them all off of the mailbox, and I understand that can be problematic if it's hanging on the flag. I get that, but at least give them notification in the future not to do that. Don't take them all the thousands of these that they took 2 days to deliver,
That volunteers delivered,
bring them back to the post office and then dump them at the firehouse.
Yeah.
That is the most, what is going on at the Wappingers Falls Post Office?
That's right.
That's what we need to know, because clearly there is a malfunction.
That's right.
And I could give you 10 examples of problems that I've encountered with the Wappingers Falls Post Office, especially over the last 4 weeks. I'm not getting into those right now, but there certainly have been problems there. Congressman Ryan is a good resource. However, Congress is a little busy at the moment.
Just a little bit.
And I'll expand upon that when it's my turn.
So I wanted to share that with everyone because we share the frustration that this is just absolutely ridiculous.
Crazy.
So that is all I have from a supervisor's report. I promised the 4th Ward councilman that he can go first tonight.
Thank you, Joseph. I'd like to know, Bill, really how you feel about the Wappingers Post Office.
We'll have a separate meeting on that.
I can't put into words the amount of frustration that the Wappingers Falls Post Office has caused me in the last 4 weeks.
Hey, this doesn't count towards my 3 minutes, does it?
No. But I mean, even water and sewer bills, this government has sent out to residents. They took whole neighborhoods that they apparently didn't want to deliver to, that we've been billing for the past 50 years, and then return them as unavailable to send. And the receiver of taxes, God bless her, she, worked with each one of these people to, make sure that they got their bills and they were paid, and we gave them leniency. But no, I shared the councilman's frustration with the village post office.
Okay.
I'm not going to say another word.
So just a couple of things. So right now, the progress continues at Schlatt House Park. As you can see, the community center is coming along very nicely. Yes. We expect that's going to be complete by the end of November.
Correct.
And then the expectation then is once that work is completed, we'll start the work over here in the senior center. Again, that's going to take us about a month. So again, some great progress there. The dance floor over at Schlatt House Park has also come along very good. That's expected to be completed by the end of November. So that's another good thing. So I will also tell you that the supervisor, myself, the buildings and grounds supervisor, the engineer took a walkthrough over at Schlatt House Park because there's some issues there. There's some cracks, things like that. We did a walkthrough, and there's another one going to come. But again, we found some things. They're going to fix, I think, probably most of the issues that we have there. So again, hopefully that's going to be taken care of as well. The other thing I would tell you is that we had the craft fair the other day, Saturday, so that was great. We also had the Halloween party. For those of you who had a chance to come out, I was very fortunate to be able to call numbers for bingo again with County Legislator Lynn Versace, but it was a great event. We served food from Adams, and they really did a nice job there, so that was good too. What I'll also tell you is that, again, what we're looking at is happy Thanksgiving, of course, naturally. I also want to thank the residents of the 4th Ward for re-electing me again. That was a significant honor for me to be re-elected again for my 4th term. So, again, I want to thank the residents. And again, as I said before, I'd like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and I'll turn it over to Councilman Phillips.
You took all my thunder.
That's usually what happens when Bill and Joey go first. It's like we're repeating ourselves.
No, I know the highway's gearing up for inclement weather. So with the turning and getting cold, we're well on track to keep the town roads safe. Everything is running really smooth. I just have to thank, again, the 3rd Ward, my 5th term. Make you feel old, Bill?
No.
No, good. But again, from us, me and my family, happy Thanksgiving to all our residents.
Thank you, Councilman.
Ange?
Oh, I've said my piece. It was out of order, but I think everybody got the gist of what I was saying. So just to shake things up a little bit. So again, happy Thanksgiving. Be safe. Enjoy. Mr. Beal?
I've had a Bettina sitting next to me for 19 years shaking things up.
And how's it felt? Great.
First it was a Vinnie,
Yep,
and then it was an Angela.
yep.
And I hope you're going to attend the next meeting, because I appreciate you being here.
Of course.
You have certainly provided an incredible amount of perspective.
Thank you.
And you have represented your constituents very effectively, just as your brother did.
Thank you.
And
It means a lot.
And I mean it. And I offer my congratulations to the council member-elect, Heather
Mm-hmm.
Odell. And I thank the residents for their support. I've been sitting here in my 20s, my 30s, and my 40s. I'll be 50 on May 1st. So I'll be sitting here.
Still young.
I'll be sitting here in my 50s on May 1st. Think about that. But I'm 49 and a half on November 1st, so I still got some time. But I thank you all for your different perspectives. Joey, I haven't commented on your age.
No,
Okay. You were
I was waiting for it.
you were 6 when I, no. But on a serious note, the federal government shutdown, which has been going on for, I don't know, close to 40 days, has created a hardship for the most vulnerable populations in this country and this community. And I appreciate the fact that the supervisor has teamed up with the Zion Food Pantry. I appreciate the fact that Meals on Wheels operates.
Yes.
My father is a beneficiary of Meals on Wheels. And it's times like this where these nonprofit organizations, these faith-based institutions, and these food pantries really come to light. And I appreciate all the hard work that has been going on that often goes unnoticed. But, you know, these pantries are not designed to sustain 40 days, right? I mean, I think we're doing okay at the moment here, but ultimately, at the end of the day, there's really no excuse for the federal government to be shut down for this long. This is the longest federal government shutdown in history. Ultimately, doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on, the most vulnerable populations are basically pawns in a situation like this. You know, I'm sitting here watching the updates here. It looks like there may be a resolution. I don't want to jinx it. It looks like they may have a resolution here at some point to end this shutdown. But keep in mind, to fill these EBT cards and to get people back to normal, it's going to take a number of days for that to happen, right? So the food pantries are going to have to continue to provide assistance even in the short term after the end of this federal government shutdown. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it really should not have happened like this.
Absolutely.
And it's a shame.
You're
It's a shame.
100% right.
So I just wanted to give a shout out to the food pantries and all those that have stepped up during this time to ensure that our most vulnerable populations, and it's not just low-income people, it's veterans, it's seniors, right? It's people that don't have the means to get food, right?
Children.
Children, and you know, as a local government, as a town government, you know, we don't have the means to feed all the families that are dependent upon federal assistance, but I think working with our partner agencies and nonprofits, we've at least tried to help. So I thank you for that, and I appreciate the hard work that's going on behind the scenes. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Seeing no further business to come before the town board, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move it.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Beal, second by Councilwoman Bettina. All in favor? Aye. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night.